toys and TV shows, comics and collecting and superheroes. There's no end to the useless stuff they know. But don't call them geeks, they're just regular Joes.
Welcome to the Regular Joe's podcast. I'm Dave Pisani.
Barry K.
And I'm Todd Pleasant.
Barry closes his eyes.
Hey, we all have our little pre-show and post-show and mid-show
Exactly.
rituals.
He's trying to picture the audience nude. That's what it is. It's just it makes him more comfortable. So.
Yes. Going to my happy place.
True. Okay, this week, apparently there was a professional football contest between the 49ers of San Francisco and the Chiefs of Kansas City this past weekend. I don't know anything about that, but
I thought there was just an ass-shaking
commercials.
demonstration on TV. No, that wasn't it? It was something else?
I didn't watch that, so I don't know. But there were commercials that sort of fit into our genre a little, so we're going to talk about those. And we're going to talk about Lost in Space Season 2. So if you haven't seen it, there'll be spoilers, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But go watch it. So we'll talk about all that stuff. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. We haven't been posting too much on Instagram, which we should. And I posted something today or last night or sometime.
Yesterday, we got a really good response to it.
A lot of good response, so we got to do that more. So let's.
Yeah, I know. We've both been fairly delinquent at posting stuff on social, but we'll try to do more of that.
Yes, true. And so have I. So we'll do more of that.
And hey, leave us a review on iTunes. We don't ask that often, but it really we would love some new updated reviews. We've got a lot of you have done that in the past, and we love that. But a couple new ones would be awesome. So
that would be good. Let's go random. Barry, do you have something?
Yeah, I got some stuff. So Star Wars Resistance finished. It was the series finale the other day with 2 seasons. I will admit that I did muddle my way through the entire series. It was not good. It never got good. But, I'm like Todd when it comes to Star Wars in that I'm a completist. I will watch everything. Not so much all the other stuff, but Star Wars, I'm like, if it's a TV show, I'm going to watch it. So that's all I have to say about that. It's over. Not great. Not great.
I read something the other day that said it will survive as a textbook case on how to basically not do a tie-in series.
It absolutely did no harm. It treaded on nothing. They did weave in, especially the last 2 episodes, they weaved Kylo Ren in there, and there was a little bit more going on with, that had a little bit more to tie into movies, but it was the most do no harm series.
Yeah, that's what I read. They said it was of completely no consequence, even while you were watching.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
Yeah,
that's a glowing review.
Nope, it's not. It's not a glowing review. It's just a statement that it was like something I endured, and I came out the other end. Yeah. And I can't even say I came out a better person for it. I just came out the other end.
I feel like there's a lot of that on TV these days.
I could not. I like most of the other animated stuff. I could not get past the first episode. And so.
It makes me very much more excited for the return of Clone Wars in a few weeks.
I'm very excited for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have something else, Barry, or Todd? Do you want to go?
Circle back to me.
Okay.
Todd?
So I'm ready to try this again on February 16th. There's another adaptation of War of the Worlds.
Another one?
This is on Epix. Yep, or Epix, whatever you want to call it. But
it's called Epix.
It's set in the present day, and it's a little more maybe Walking Dead-ish. It's more about the aftermath after the attack and people trying to make sense of it and find each other and stuff like this. But there's a trailer for it.
Is it a movie miniseries? What is it?
It's 8 episodes, I think.
Oh, okay, so it's like a
what's it called?
Limited series.
Yeah, 8-part series, and it starts February 16th. So I'm like I said, I hope it will wash the bad taste of the other one out from my mouth, but I'm not sure I can.
War of the
unsee
Worlds is
that,
your jam, so you might as well watch it.
Yeah.
Is this called War of the Worlds?
Yep. It's called War of the Worlds, and like I said, so and again, there was a trailer for it, and it looks kind of interesting. So we'll see.
Can I, as a licensed physician, can I prescribe you a palate cleanser of the Tom Cruise War of the Worlds? Maybe you want to watch that.
Yeah. It had the title from the book. Anyways,
That's a good movie.
It is a good movie. And it's got some great Tom Cruise running scenes in it.
it has got a lot of
Absolutely.
running Tom Cruise, and it's just it's yeah, yeah. So,
Anyway,
anyways.
okay. Is there anyone connected to it or anyone in it that we may have heard of?
Gabriel Byrne's in it. A few other people that I recognize, not like big names, but again, like I said, it could be interesting. I think it's like a joint production with a UK company, and it's airing simultaneously somewhere else. And again,
It sounds like
I
it
said,
can't
I like
be any
the
worse
story.
than the last
I like
one.
the premise. We'll see. It's it could not be worse. So.
Yeah, interesting. I have the streaming services that we talk about a lot have released their numbers. Disney Plus says as of now they have 26.5 million paying customers. Key phrase being paying. That's not that bad. They claim they got 10 million in the first week. They have 26.5 million right now.
I wonder,
and they're not even in every country. So there's a bunch more countries
and maybe
rolling out.
you know, and I don't know, do they consider everybody that got it through Verizon a paying customer?
I don't
They
know.
probably do, because they're paying for it as part of their Verizon service.
Well, Verizon's probably paying them.
Right,
I
that's what I'm
don't
saying.
know.
Somebody's paying Disney, so I bet you they count, because they gave it to everybody with a Verizon wireless account.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. As
However
a
they count it.
comparison,
I mean, however they count it, that's a fairly impressive number for, 3 months.
at $4 a month, that's about $1.2 billion, and that's probably on the low side.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll just keep getting more stuff.
It will be interesting to see. There is between now and when the original content that we're interested in comes out, with the exception of Clone Wars, there's a big wait. So we'll see. You guys would know better whether people, who sign up for these things actually ever unsubscribe. But
I've done a massive amount of research with just myself, and you don't cancel it.
Yeah, no, same
You
here.
keep paying.
No, but you
you use
especially
it or
don't
not.
cancel it when you get it 12 months free with your Verizon wireless bill. I mean, it's
Right, yeah.
Nobody's canceling that. So
So
But as a comparison, Netflix has 167 million people worldwide, and Amazon has 150 million. They just released that. That's a staggering number. Those are
Yeah.
staggering numbers.
well, you're the incumbent when you're Netflix, and Amazon gave it to everybody that pays for a Prime membership. So
Yeah,
know.
that's the thing. Netflix pays way more, obviously, to produce original content, where Amazon is less selective. But they've got to mail at least 10,000 packages to my house, and I'm sure there's 149,999,999 other people getting packages.
Well, that's the crazy thing is that's the number of people that have access to Amazon Video because of their Prime memberships. How many
Yeah.
of them use it is a much smaller number.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I can't tell you how many. I was actually, Barry, you and I were going back about this a while ago. I took a kind of informal survey of people at work, and roughly half the people who have Amazon memberships realized they had Amazon Prime.
Yep.
And knew
Yeah,
of
it's a little
things
crazy.
like the Marvelous Miss Maisel and stuff like this that were on Amazon Prime, but thought it was something else they had to sign up for. And I was like, no, you have
That's a
it.
little
Really,
crazy. They
you
should
do.
market it better.
Yeah.
I would really like to know, like, what are they paying in shipping, and how does that work? I mean, I know they're even getting to the point where they're doing their own stuff, but like, I get an A2 box as we all know, because we have so many boxes. What's that cost to get to me? And
Yeah, that is the question. I will tell you, I mean, I live out in East Nowhere, and I now have Amazon trucks delivering. So it's not... It's,
really?
Yeah.
We don't, I don't think.
Yeah, no, I've
Maria's aunt is dating a postman, and he's a really cool dude, so we have some conversations, and he tells me, like, the hardest part of being a mailman is freaking Amazon.
It used to be the Restoration Hardware catalog.
Yeah. Now it's Amazon.
But it's.
But they show up on Sundays and everything.
Yeah, he was saying like
that's what I'm saying.
They do Sunday
weekend Sundays
just for Amazon.
But I've seen, because I have the Ring picks up who delivers, and I see Amazon trucks quite often.
So here's an interesting one. So as you guys know, we're doing some renovations in the house, and in order to do that, we pretty much gave away all of the furniture on our entire first floor of the house to family members and friends, and it's all gone. But we were waiting for somebody to show up on Saturday to pick something up, and Maria saw a U-Haul truck pull up, so she assumed it was them. It was somebody delivering Amazon boxes.
Really?
From a rented U-Haul truck.
That's interesting. I wonder if you get subcontract out to deliver. It's almost
I don't know.
Uber
It was wacky.
Barry, were they delivering to you?
No.
No, okay.
No, we saw them delivering. But she saw them pull up like across the street and thought it was the people we were waiting for. And now
Are you sure they weren't collecting Amazon boxes?
No, I said that to her, but no, they were delivering and not collecting.
Yeah. I've seen that during the holidays. I've never seen it during regular times.
Yeah, me either.
That's weird. Well, that could be, the Amazon delivery trucks, and they just haven't gotten around to getting their own trucks or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that could actually be it too. They could have their drivers and they don't
waiting
have trucks
for the
in that
trucks
area.
to crank out of the Amazon truck machine that they just
that Jeff Bezos
could buy.
They're waiting for someone to deliver the
want.
trucks.
Yeah.
The person delivering the truck doesn't do 2-day delivery like Amazon does.
Yeah. But I think the U.S. Post Office would be out of business if it wasn't for Amazon.
Yeah.
Anyway,
they're here.
What else? Barry, you got something else?
Yeah. So I'm just this is more of a question for you guys. Are either of you as surprised as I am that it's now February and Kathleen Kennedy still has a job at Lucasfilm? I was expecting after the dust settled from the movie being released that it would quietly be announced that she was moving on. Hasn't happened yet.
She gave an interview the other day about the new indie film, or where she talked about the new indie film.
Yeah, she said it's not going to be a reboot. Like, who the hell thought it was going to be a reboot?
It's not going to be a reboot, and that they're still considering making. They're still planning on making more than one film. I gotta say, when I see trailers for the Call of the Wild film, it's like, why did they make that instead of the indie film? It's like
because they claim they didn't have a script, but like, you know what though? I saw yesterday was
Paramount.
Yeah. Yesterday was Brent Spiner's birthday. He turned 71. If he's 71, really? I was shocked he was good. I was shocked he was that old. So if he's 71 and he looks as good as he looks, maybe Harrison Ford can pull off Indy again. I don't know.
We'll see. Okay. You know who's not old and just out of it and also destroying your childhood dreams like Kathleen Kennedy? Fanboy Collectibles. Okay. Speaking of childhood fantasies, there's a ton of Thundercats stuff.
There is a lot of Thundercats stuff.
Yeah. Now, there's a Thundercats, TV series or movie coming out, I think? There is.
Okay.
I think there's something.
Sure.
But there's a ton of Lion-O and all his pals, tons of that stuff. So check that out. There's a bunch of Harley Quinn stuff, obviously, with the Birds of Prey movies.
This Godzilla statue that's up there. Do you see the Godzilla statue? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a pretty sweet Godzilla statue. Sideshow Baby Yoda is up for pre-order.
Yeah, he is.
Life size. I know everyone needs that. So check that out, fanboycollectibles.com.
Hey, there's a pop-up there I might actually buy. There's an Iron Maiden Piece of Mind Eddie Funko Pop. That's awesome.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, Todd Jr., you're going to shop while we're doing the show?
Why not?
Check them out at their store in Newtown, Connecticut. Tell them Regular Joe sent you. Okie dokie. So the professional football contest, first of all, I watched maybe 5 minutes of it. I am happy that the Kansas City Chiefs won. And Todd, why is that?
I didn't know who won until you just said so. So I can't
but I'm
possibly
happy the
imagine.
Kansas City Chiefs won. Why is that? You have the answer to that.
Because they have the
because
best
it's
barbecue.
the best barbecue we've ever had.
Yes, that's right. Ty and I had one of the best meals we ever had. In
And our
Kansas
friend
City.
Jim Bush lives there, and he's very excited.
And Jim
about
Bush.
This, so.
That's it.
I'm supporting you, Jim
Hi,
Bush.
Jim.
But
Yep.
there are two meals that stand out. I'm not really a food guy, despite appearances. I don't love food, but Kansas City meal we had, and a meal I had in Minneapolis once. So if the
I will
Minnesota
say
Vikings are in the Super Bowl,
I will say every time I have barbecue of any ilk, I think of a place in Kansas City. I always kind of rate it against that, and it always generally comes up lacking. But that was fantastic. So
We had some
I
good
will
barbecue
never-
in Texas. The last time we
Texas
were in
was
Dallas, we had some
good.
barbecue.
It just it
This-
would have
this-
been great if it hadn't been for the place in Kansas City.
and this may not even be the best place, but it was the best place I've been to. So I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
So anyway, so there's a ton of commercials that were on. Some were, like I said, in our genre wheelhouse. Why don't we just? I think we all made a list.
I was going to say, could we just start by saying who we think won the Super Bowl?
Like commercial wise?
Yeah,
'Cause he just
that's,
told
that's
us
all that
that.
matters to me.
Let's go.
Because I think we're all going to pick the same one.
I think so too.
Yeah,
Okay.
no doubt.
I believe that Jeep won the Super
Wait.
Bowl.
Who? Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Groundhog Day on Groundhog Day.
Oh my God! It's
Bill Murray
with
in a
Bill
commercial that he doesn't tend to do,
Here's a
and a
question.
real live groundhog.
Was it intercut with old footage, or does Ned Ryerson not age?
I don't know.
Oh, he
I'm
looks the
thinking
same.
about that.
He totally looks the same.
Because
Yeah.
Is that guy
I saw those
alive?
scenes and I'm like, he hasn't aged.
Yeah, yeah.
I wonder if I thought that guy passed away. I'm checking that.
Check it out.
Because I have a Ned Ryerson T-shirt. Have you ever worn that where you guys have been around? I might not have, but it's I love that character. But even Brian Doyle Murray looked like it was him current day because he looked older. But
Well, so did Bill Murray.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was a really good
That's
commercial.
1993. That is 27 years ago. Is that or is that later? No, it's 27 years ago.
It's also a pretty
I actually
badass looking
happen to-
Jeep. Speaking of
Huh?
two Jeep owners here, I think that's a pretty badass looking Jeep, the Gladiator.
I don't love the Gladiator personally.
I wouldn't
but,
own it, but I think it's pretty cool looking.
Yeah, I wouldn't own it either. Why am I not?
Did
able
you
to
see
click
that
into
there was a
Groundhog?
commercial and it was
So
more
you're
of a
saying
teaser?
that you think Stephen Tobolewsky is dead?
I thought I heard that. I could be
No, he's
completely
not.
wrong.
He's not. He was only born in 1951. He played for decades. He played older than he was. Okay, I think he always played an older guy than he was, and I think he was actually fairly young at that point. So
Yeah, no, true. He's 51, so he's 66.
That's
He's
okay.
65
that's
now.
what I'm
Alright, so
saying.
So he's probably
And-
playing his age now.
He's probably
And
playing
he-
his
so
age now.
he
I bet he
was
was playing. He was
39.
probably playing
He
a
was what?
55-year-old guy back in that time, or maybe 45,
And he was
whatever.
39 back then?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying. He
Anyway.
always played older.
the
He does a
commercial was great. I loved
podcast,
it.
he
It
did a
was great.
podcast for a long time. He's a super interesting guy, super smart too. He's just one of these like perennial shows up a little part in everything actors, and
So
fascinating
just
guy.
trying not to go down a rabbit hole, but there was a teaser for an electric Hummer during the Super Bowl.
This Super Bowl?
Yes.
I
It
didn't
was
see
just
that.
it was like a 15-second teaser, but yeah. Crazy.
Okay,
That's kind of crazy. All right, so Groundhog Day won the thing.
Without
Let's just
question,
go-
it may have won the decade of Super Bowl commercials. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm hard pressed to think of one that in terms of the timing and what they did, And even
That's
the
what I'm
irony of
wondering.
him not making commercials and having made a movie about celebrities making commercials.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. You know, Lost in Translation. It's yeah.
Did somebody sit around the table like 6 months ago and be like, and it's like, all right, we need, we're the Jeep agency client, whatever. We need Super Bowl commercial. When's the Super Bowl? February 2nd. Groundhog Day. Get me Bill Murray.
I don't
Is that
care
how
what
it went down?
I don't care what it costs. Get me Bill Murray.
I gotta believe that's how it happened.
Yeah. Yeah. It was again, it was great. The getting him was great. The concept was great. How they executed it was terrific. I have no need for that vehicle whatsoever, and I wanted one. So it's like it does exactly what it needs.
I just loved the one shot when he was driving it with all the doors and roof off and everything in the middle of
Oh
the
yeah, and he says you're going to freeze to death. He says,
Yeah.
yeah. It's
Good
okay.
stuff.
Yeah, they did a good job.
Yep.
All right,
So
let's just go around what we've seen. I mean, we may have different lists, but
I'll jump
you want me to
in.
go?
I'll go.
Okay, go.
So the SodaStream commercial for the water on Mars. Did you see that one?
that was good.
I kind of like
I
that
didn't
one.
see that one.
I mean, it was very Martian in its look, and they had the spacesuits.
very
so
much
you didn't see
so.
it, Dave? So the idea was that there's this space crew out on Mars trying to find water on Mars, and they find a tiny little puddle, and they're very excited, and they suck it up with this canister, and then they cut to them inside the little space station on Mars, and they're talking back to Earth, and everybody's so excited they found water, and then there's this guy in the background who's like drinking it, and they're all freaking out, and he's like, "What? It says Mark's water." And they're like, "It doesn't say Mark's water, it's Mars water."
Yeah, they
guy
found
Mark
a
was
sample
drinking
of
it.
Mars water, and the guy
Yeah.
drank it with a soda
I
stream.
totally
It
missed
was-
that one. That
Oh, it was
sounds
good. It was good.
It was
It was,
funny.
it was really good spacesuits and stuff.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
I
ahead.
I would go with the Hyundai Smart Pock.
Yeah,
God,
that
I
one
know,
was
I have
pretty
that one.
crazy. They had a great cast in that one.
Oh yes, but they're all Bostonians or from that area, and they played
I'm
the.
surprised that. I mean, that's a lot of people in that movie. In that.
Oh yeah,
commercial.
but they were all Eastern Mass natives, and they cranked the Boston accent up to like,
Oh my God! Yeah,
13.
That's crazy.
and I thought it was great. I loved it. Maybe it's just
I thought it was funny.
being a Massachusettsite, but
No offense to Barry, but does the guy who gets Emily Blunt drive a Hyundai? No way. Not possible.
I drove a Hyundai once, and I quickly corrected it.
yeah.
I shouldn't say I drove it once. I owned one once.
Yes.
For 4
Yeah.
years.
And you think Chris Evans is going to admire? Like,
Again, it was a great ad. It just and the three of them standing on the curb, and again, David Ortiz. Did you know he lived up there? It was just like great.
that's funny.
Yeah.
I wrote down the Mr. Not that I liked it. I'm just saying the Mr. Peanut thing, and it was interesting because a couple weeks ago they had the Mr. Peanut die. Then when Kobe died, they said they weren't gonna. They were
gonna
pulling
air
the
it,
commercial.
Right.
Then they ran the commercial, and then it's Baby Yoda, Mr. Peanut. I mean,
Yeah.
is that a total ripoff of Baby Yoda?
Oh, totally. Totally. It had to be.
I mean,
Yeah.
that was crazy.
Yeah.
That whole thing was
Does
weird
anyone
to
really
me,
care
but
about Mr. Peanut?
that whole thing was weird to me. Did you notice it at his funeral? They had the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile was there.
Yeah, there were, and Mr. Clean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and there were a
Mr.
bunch
Clean.
of people there.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was funny.
That's great.
All right, I'll go with the Rocket Mortgage Jason Momoa commercial.
Yeah, that was funny.
That one
Yes.
was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Not much to say about it, but it was pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean that's really all there is.
Yeah. I liked the Amazon commercial, the Alexa commercial.
Oh yeah, the one with Ellen DeGeneres.
There's about 5 different versions of that they air now, but I love the the whole through the ages, Al
Before- it
play
was
another
before
song.
Alexa,
and-
yeah.
Yeah.
Before Alexa.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was
it
good.
was clever. Yeah.
So the Disney Plus one, which was nice to see, it's a little clip of Falcon Winter Soldier, WandaVision, and Loki.
Yep.
It
Yeah.
was nice that they sort of staked some claim there, like that these things are all coming. even though some are coming
And
later
that's the
than
first
others.
footage we have seen of any of that, right? I mean, they've
Yeah.
probably shown some of it at either investor meetings or D23 maybe, but publicly, I think that's the first footage anybody's seen.
Yeah. And I get that the WandaVision is a weird kind of like shifting reality kind of thing, but putting her in the 60s Scarlet Witch costume was just awesome. I mean,
Yeah, that was
even if it
cool.
was only for 2 seconds. Yeah. So,
What else?
Did you see the
Barry?
Mountain Dew as good as the original one with Bryan Cranston?
The Shining one.
The Shining? Yeah, that one was pretty good.
that was pretty good. I happen to like the Maisie Williams Audi commercial. I thought that was clever. The
one that we saw earlier was the Walmart commercial,
Yeah.
which is awesome. I think, did I post it on our Facebook page or I texted it to
You
us?
texted it to us.
yeah.
I think I put it on our Facebook page.
That was the
But that
long
was
version
crazy.
too, because the version that they aired was much more cut up than the version that is online. It's like 2 minutes long or something.
That's sort of
Yeah.
the follow-up to the one with all the different vehicles like Kit and the A-Team van or whoever is coming, but
The
they got
only
a lot
downside to
going
that
on.
commercial was that they dedicated quite a bit of it to Mars Attacks.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, that's got to have been a cheap license.
I would imagine.
in the long version, it's there's Star Trek and Star Wars in the same thing, and
Yep.
what else was in there?
They had the spinner from
Blade Runner.
Blade Runner. They
Blade
had,
Runner was in
That's
there.
That's
They had
like
the
going
Men
way
in
deep.
Black.
They had the dog driving the car from Men in Black with all the
Yeah,
little
yeah.
coffee drinking aliens in the back seat.
Yeah.
They had actually the Lego ship, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yes. Yeah.
What else is in there? There was they had Sam Jones flying down on the rocket
Oh my
cycle
God! Yes, of
from
course.
Flash
Sam
Gordon.
Jones
It was actually
That was
like
great.
modern day Sam Jones. It was great.
with his wig on. That was awesome.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. Yep. No, very.
Yeah, it was good.
It was good. It's and yeah, good kind of. Yeah. The Rand Wilson Little Caesars commercial was fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
better than
that's the
sliced
last
bread.
one that I had written down here.
Yeah.
You covered every single one that I had on my list.
Well, then there's a couple of there's movie ones. So James Bond, which wasn't
Yep.
too much different than the trailer we've seen before. We also saw Black Widow,
Yep.
which was
Yep.
I think there are a couple of different things in there.
The
And the best for last,
yeah.
Top Gun.
Yeah, I missed that one. In terms of regular commercials, the Reese's commercial, it wasn't the best, but the Reese's Take 5, but
Oh.
literally having a guy with his head up his ass.
Oh my God, that was crazy.
I was like, they went there. I was like, they went there. They used every euphemism for, and then they didn't say that one, but the guy's walking around with his head
that was
up his ass.
really funny, actually.
Yeah. So
I gotta say, if Take 5 is my very favorite candy bar. It's amazing. If you haven't had it, have it.
it is good, but you just never see him anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Winona was, kind of, it was very Fargo,
Yeah, it came across very Fargo.
Yep. So, but it was, I gotta say, it was a good year for commercials. I have no idea how the
I think
game
it was
went.
a good
but
year for commercials. If you,
Yeah.
and the good thing is you could see them without having to endure the sports ball situation.
Yeah.
And on that
Yeah,
note,
if
I
you-
will say, at least I did not watch the whole game, but I did see the end of it, and it was, from all accounts, an exciting game if you're into that kind of thing. So,
Yeah, I
good
watched the
year
last
for
5
commercials.
minutes. It was pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Yeah. If you go to cbssports.com, they have every single commercial there. So, there's,
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of places. I didn't realize that they were all there. That's cool.
yeah, every single one in order. So it's kind of cool. So you can see the ones with callbacks and stuff.
Yeah.
So
So let us know if there's something you like that we didn't talk about, or The Jeep one, again, awesome. I'm hoping they...
Oh, yeah.
I would love to see if they do follow-ups to that,
Yep.
but it doesn't really... I wonder, have you seen it anywhere since, or are they going to only play that on Groundhog Day? Is that like a Macintosh commercial they played once and that's it?
I have not seen that again. So that could very well be. But again, absolute masterstroke. It was brilliant. It made me when I saw the Shining one, it made me like, oh, if they can't get Jack Nicholson, they shouldn't have done this.
Yeah.
Even though Bryan Cranston was
true.
great, it was
Putting
like
Bryan Cranston in the dresses that like the twins at the end was
oh yeah,
funny.
no, but I'm saying it just because the Bill Murray, that would have been fine without that.
But you know what? They wouldn't have gotten Bill Murray to do it if it wasn't a great idea.
Oh, it was, and again, really, really well done. Just perfectly, perfectly carried off. So
yeah, cool. Okay, we're going to go to Workbench, which we haven't done in a while, and we've been sort of teasing to do.
Well, if I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning. Regular Joe's, what's on my workbench?
What's on my workbench? Todd, what's on your workbench?
okay, one of the Hot Toys figures that they haven't made of a Marvel character that I actually liked is is Talos, the Skrull from Ben Mendelsohn's character from both Captain Marvel and Spider-Man: Far From Home. And so quite a bit earlier this year, I saw on eBay that someone was making a head and a set of hands for a custom figure, and I ordered them, and I waited a really, really long time. It took about 4 months before they finally came out, but and then I thought about what to do. Originally, I thought of putting it on like a Nick Fury body, and then I found a black suit that I really liked. Put it all together. You can see if you go to regularjoes.com, you'll see there's pictures posted. We now have the pictures by segment, so you'll be able to see those. So this I'm showing the guys here, which I showed you before. The head is
wearing,
really good.
Herman Munster's outfit.
What's that?
He's wearing Herman Munster's
He's kind of
outfit.
he's got a black suit with a black T-shirt. So other than having to fabricate a neck post to make this work on the body that I bought, I didn't have to do a lot of customization. I did make a tiny little.
Oh, look at that!
Yeah, I can't get it to focus. I did get a tiny little. Oh, I'm even holding it upside down. Nick Fury ID card
That's
for
better.
him, and I made a eye patch. So I've got him right now holding a Nick Fury ID and an eye patch, and
That's funny.
and when Captain Marvel shows up, hopefully next month, I'll put them in the case together. But
No, that's cool. That's a good custom.
yeah, it's
figure.
again
And
like
that head
it's a
sculpt
figure they're
is
not
great.
apt
I mean,
to make
it's-
for now.
A lot of
And,
times these aftermarket or third-party head sculpts don't live up to the Hot Toys standards, but that one looks really good.
This one looks great, and you can see, Barry, I've got pictures in the shared folder at the moment, and we'll post them online. But I'm super pleased with how it came out. It's got a really good look, and I found a body. I did like the slender body thing, and it kind of fits Ben Mendelsohn's profile pretty well, and it worked out. So I'm happy with it. So yeah, Dave, what do you got
Cool.
going?
Okay, mine's a little simpler. I have something that I use on my workbench. These are very simple, but you probably in your lifetime, I know in my lifetime, I have bought small wire clippers. These are about 4 inches long.
Yep.
Probably half a dozen times. And if you could buy them Chinese versions for like $2 or $8, or even channel lock for like $15. And eventually the blades chip.
Yeah.
These are, and I think I've shown you, these are called Knipex. They're made in Germany. These are the finest small wire clippers known to man. And I just was using some Chinese version, and the blade chipped, and I'm like, I'm never going through this again. So I bought these from Germany. So here's what I recommend. Anyone who is into making or building, especially if you're young, buy some Knipex tools now, and they will probably last you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Because the cheap wire cutters, those pointed pliers just don't last.
So those are like the
I have
Mercedes-Benz of
cheap
wire cutters?
These are the Mercedes-Benz of wire cutters.
I have cheap wire cutters that I keep now because they work effectively as wire strippers because there's little notches in them. But yeah.
I have another Knipex tools that I probably showed on this. That's sort of a bolt cutter. That's a much bigger version. And, anytime you try to cut something with... And I've had fairly good, big cutting pliers that you just crack the stupid blades on. So that's my recommendation.
It's not a collectible, so I don't have any issue asking you on the air, but what did you pay for those? What did those cost?
These are $300. No, they're $35.
Yeah, that's what you spend for a good tool. I mean,
that's reasonable.
Yeah, the reality of this, even a good American brand of this is like $12.
My favorite pliers, the Negisaurus Japanese pliers, are about that price, and they're
it's no different for the nips that you use to take model parts off of sprues.
Right.
I had bought a couple of cheap ones over the years, and then I finally broke down and bought a really good one, and it is like night and day when you use a good tool, no matter what the application. Like a great tool just makes everything easier.
Yeah, and it'll last longer.
Yeah.
So I've kind of always bought just something that's cheap, and then over the past couple of years, I've been like, I'm gonna get the right thing for the right job. So anyway, the second thing is this is I have this annex workbench over here. That's my work table, but this is sort of what is my workbench. You can see right here, I ran out of bookshelf space, so I built a bookshelf into the workbench.
Oh,
here.
nice.
Oh, nice.
Because I just have no place to put books, and I specifically sized this to fit the Rinsler making of books.
The big books.
So right now, I'm gonna put all the making of books as it's the right. I built it the right size to put there.
Didn't you have drawers there before on the front?
No, on the other side there's a set of drawers.
Okay.
See, this table is like 5 feet long, so it really isn't taking up much space. But I probably could have put a 2-layer bookshelf in there. But I just thought it'd be cool to hang it.
No, that's great.
That's cool.
That's great. Yeah, get us,
I like it.
Get us pictures of both those things.
Yeah. So that's what's on my workbench. Barry, what about you?
I know the last time we did Workbench, I talked about some little model Star Destroyers I had built, and now I've built their granddad. So this is a Bandai 1/5000th scale Star Destroyer, which sounds incredibly small, but given how big Star Destroyers are, it's about 12 to 14 inches in length, which, I kind of wish that this kit had maybe been like 14 to 18 inches long, just to give it a little bit more size. But what they've packed into this model is like really unbelievable. There's 2 versions of it. There's the unlighted version, and then there's a version that comes with a lighting kit. And I got the version with the lighting kit, and I'm really glad I did, because this would have been really difficult to do, like if you tried to light this with fiber optics, and the effect that they've managed to deliver when you turn the lights on, it looks like it's lit with fiber optics. So it's pretty amazing. They Bandai is like known for their really, really like crisp engineering and the way that they design these things. But this kit has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of tiny little pinhole lights built into the side panels, the top panel, the bottom panel, the bay where the Tantive gets pulled into in the beginning of the first Star Wars movie. There's a little port on the back of the ship, which I believe is actually like where the shuttles, like the shuttle Tidarium type shuttles, go in. All of it's lit. The engines are lit. It's amazing. The kit only has 11 LED light bulbs, but it lights up the entire kit. And part of that is the way they designed it. Like along the sides, they built these channels in that actually reflect the light. And
that's
some
awesome.
of it they give you some reflective stickers to put in certain places to help reflect the light. They've got these tiny little black circle stickers that they give you to put in specific places where they know you might get light leak. Like, they really, really engineered it incredibly well. The only downside to it is it's such a tightly sealed up model. They didn't build a switch onto the outside of it. So in order to turn the lights on, you've literally got to take the whole top of their model off. And then there's a panel under there you've got to take off. And then they give you this tiny little stick that you use to flick the switches. It's worse than turning on the lights in a Hot Toys figure.
Boy, you would think there'd be like a hole you could stick the stick in or something like that.
Totally. There should be. But it's like, even like in the engines, there's only 3 LEDs to light 7 engines. But what they did was they give you this clear plastic piece that on one end sticks out into every one of these engines, and on the other end distributes the 3 LED lights across all of it. So like, it's just incredibly well engineered. And I will try to take some really good pictures of it all lit up, because it kind of doesn't do it justice to see it any other way. But the other thing that I did, which, there's not a lot of detail on these, not painting detail. And usually a lot of the models I do, especially Star Wars models, are all weathered and they're all beat up. But the Star Destroyers really weren't. But what they did have is this tiny little paneling detailing on the top and bottom of the ship. And the only way to really do it is to cut these incredibly small little pieces of tape. And when you paint, you kind of put a gray primer down on the ship, then tape all these tiny little pieces of tape, and then paint your white paint on top of it, and then peel off all these 100 tiny little pieces of tape to get that effect. And even after I did that, they were still a little too prominent. So then I had to go over them again, airbrush over a little bit more of the top coat. The final effect, though, came out great. And I pulled out my Star Wars Chronicles books. Those prop books that came out like 20 years ago. And last night I was comparing the paint job that I did to the ones in the studio models from Lucasfilm, and I kind of got the same effect, which I'm really happy with. I mean, obviously theirs look better, and they're also much bigger ships, so they were a lot easier to do that on. But really, really happy with the way it came out. I used a special clear coat that I bought on Amazon, by the way, called Dead Flat Clear Coat, which gives like a totally matte clear coat on it. Now that that's done and dried, I am going to do a little bit of detailing just to draw out some of the details, like on these gun turrets. I'm just going to put a little bit of... I've got this Tamiya panel line paint, which really just kind of fills in some cracks and stuff. So I'm not going to go nuts with it. I just really want to do it in a couple spots. But really happy with the way it came out. And then what's even more amazing is on the stand, they've got a holder for a tiny, tiny, tiny Tantive 4 and Millennium Falcon, which are in scale to the Star Destroyer. I haven't painted them yet. I am really just going to do some detail on them, very, very small, just a little bit to draw out some of the detail. And as small as these are, there's actually a lot of detail in the sculpts. So the only way to really draw that out is actually to do a little like panel line and weathering on them. But great kit. I mean, I think the unlit version goes for about $60. The lit version was about $100, but really, really well worth it. I just wish that the lights were easier to access and turn on, because when they're on, it looks amazing.
That's what I'm wondering. Is there any way to get in there and put like a different kind of switch in yourself?
I'm thinking
they're physical switches.
If you could like rotate one of the engines to turn it on or off or something like that.
Yeah, like
but it has batteries, right?
Push it in or out. Yeah, I mean there's 3 AA batteries in the battery pack.
Yeah, it just seems like there's got to have been a way to conceal a switch there.
I think they use the same battery pack that they used when they made their Millennium Falcon studio scale, or slightly smaller than studio scale. So it's got 4 switches on it. You only use 2 of them to light this thing. The other 2 have no function. And there's also some because all the LEDs are pre-wired and they just plug into the battery pack.
Yep.
They do have a pretty extensive, like you've got to measure them and tape them and sort of fold them in certain places. But they engineered this thing, considering how thin it is. They engineered it really, really well to put all the lights and all the wiring in and have it all fold up and fit nicely. And, so, the amount of times I'm going to turn it on, it's probably not that big of a deal, but really, really cool model. I wish it had been like 18 inches long. It would have been no bigger than that, but it's a little on the small side for a starter.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool though.
Yeah, you guys will have to see this in person at some point to truly, appreciate
the pictures you've sent are really great. So,
yeah, thank you.
Cool. That's what's on my workbench. Okay, let's talk briefly about Lost in Space season 2 came out, what, December on Netflix, I believe?
Yep.
Yeah, it was Christmas Day, wasn't it?
Thereabouts. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I enjoyed it. I think feel like it's different than season 1. A lot of people say they think it's better than season 1. I didn't. I'm up for debate on that. I think it's different. I don't feel like they were lost for that long, you know?
Yeah, I think I texted you or said it on the show. Like, my biggest... I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it. My biggest complaint, though, was I felt like the first season, I enjoyed it more when it was them and they were in peril, and it felt like every episode got... Their peril got even worse, and it wasn't until the end where they kind of came out of it.
There's a carryover from the original series in that basically anything that can go wrong is going to go wrong. Okay? I mean, there's 4 times in this season where people are trapped in something or under something, or, you know, it's just like, I don't say that's predictable, because it is what this series is, you know? And, but I think, like I said, it's entertaining. I like that this is, you know, science fiction for a juvenile audience as well as, you know, people like ourselves. It kind of fits in the same niche that the original did in some ways. It still manages to be entertaining, but it's, you know, like I said, there's kids in there that I think are worthwhile characters and worth watching and are interesting.
I do like, I mean, the focus is on Maureen more than it was on, I mean, their old series really focused on the robot Will and Dr. Smith, because that's what people tend to be their favorites.
Right.
I don't know if Guy Williams thought it was his.
He did.
Show.
I think
I'm sure
start
he did,
but
and
it kind of was to start, but it definitely
it was
gravitated.
the start, exactly. It was very much, and then it shifted, and he became a background character. In this one, I think they put a little more effort this season into giving everyone something of their own storyline.
I feel it was more kid-centric this time than, you know, the kids were definitely doing more.
Exploring the relationship between the eldest daughter and the father, I thought was a really interesting thing, and I thought that was
that was good.
Done
at
pretty
least
well.
It helped explain that dynamic between the two of them a little bit more.
I also found it interesting that I still think we see more of Penny than probably any of the other kids, and I think it works. I think she's
that's true.
Probably the most interesting character there. Among
she's
the kids,
definitely not the genius sort of physicist thing like everybody else.
It's completely summed up by Dr. Smith when she says, "You're not the best Robinson, but you're the only Robinson I have."
yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's like the best Robinson isn't going to be that interesting. You know, having MacGyver with you all the time, it's kind of like there's not really a peril. And, you know, this way, you know, having the kid who's got to try a little harder to get through it is more interesting to watch.
I'm sort of mixed feelings about the Dr. Smith character. I mean, it's funny because in the original series, in the premiere, Dr. Smith was basically out to murder the Robinsons.
Yes, is something they kind of forgot. Yeah,
the beloved uncle, sort of creepy, weird, but not dangerous guy.
They morphed him into a very kind of the eccentric guy, and, you know, very much a coward, and but also self-interested.
That whole first...
This Dr. Smith is more that original evil Dr. Smith kind of.
Yeah, I mean, the whole first season of Lost in Space, or at least the first half of the first season of the original Lost in Space, is different from the rest of Lost in Space. I mean, it
very much, yeah.
Changes tone, and it changes, you know, the whole thing.
Yeah. I think I actually like that character a lot. She's scheming, conniving, but I also think that she's like lied so much that she actually doesn't know what she thinks. You know, where like I think she surprises herself at times because, you know, she spent so much time trying to fool people, she doesn't, you know, have a grasp of what her actual instincts are.
Yeah, and it's hard to, she has murdered somebody. So
there's no question. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's tricky. It's definitely tricky.
Well, she's definitely in it for her own best interest. No matter
there's no question
at all costs.
But she's strayed beyond that a little bit, and in a believable way. I also got to say, I like this Don West so much better than the cardboard cutout Don West.
He's way more interesting.
I wish there was more of him. I don't think there was really enough of him.
There wasn't enough of him, but it's he's a really interesting character. He's a kind of an odd dude, but I think I think in contrast to Dr. Smith, I think his intentions are good, but he's not averse to, doing a little smuggling and whatnot.
Yeah.
I keep confusing him with the actor that plays Rich.com on Blind Spot, and I know that they're not the same guy.
Oh,
but they just have that same kind of swarmy kind of.
And again, but I think he does a good job with it. I think it's really what the whole show's really well cast. I don't think you waste a lot of brain cells trying to figure out what's going to happen next, because it is fairly predictable. But
it is sort of the same.
But I will say, in the first season, I did like the way that every episode amped up the tension and every episode amped up the peril, and I felt like that was missing. And I think part of it was that they were essentially alone, the six of them and the robot, for 90% of the first season. And in this one, there was a lot of other people around all the time.
There's a lot of people. Yeah, I agree with that.
I will say that on the planet, some of the stuff was fairly scary. I at one point when the velociraptor-ish things were chasing Judy, it struck me. I said, "Boy, a younger kid might be really freaked out by this." But it's I think it was really enjoyable. I think they did what they needed to do. I think every character got a little more to do this season than previously.
And you know what? For a minute there in that episode with the Velociraptors, I did think for a moment that maybe they would let the father die, because he was pretty far gone.
Barry, I entertained that too. I thought because they were really doing the I'm okay with this kind of thing,
right?
And so. I think it's good. I think it does what it needs to do. I like that it's very different. It's not The Expanse. It's not the, it's not the Mandalorian.
It's sort of light sci-fi, and
it is. But that's what I'm saying.
As if Lost in Space was.
But you know what?
If
The
they
thing I like
tried to
least
make this
about
something it wasn't, it wouldn't fit.
The thing I like least about it, though, is the robot, and that was the thing I liked most about Lost in Space as a kid. I don't like this robot.
I don't have a problem with the robot. I like the one of the problems with the robot in the original series is that it was more sophisticated than anything else they had in some regards. The robot could do pretty much anything you thought to ask him to do. Okay. And this, it's not as controllable. It's an X factor.
Well, it's not their property, where the robot.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But the other one, like I said, was just, like I said, just seems like it's just fix the ship so we can go home.
I get it.
Yeah,
I just maybe this season there wasn't enough of the robot, and maybe that's what.
Yeah, they spent a lot of time trying to find the robot,
looking for the robot, and then figuring out if he's good or not. I mean, it's almost like, all right, the robot's good. Let's have an adventure. Have him be good and figure him out.
Right. I will say I would buy a model of I would buy a figure of the robot. I would also buy the ship if somebody made it. There doesn't seem to be, like The Expanse, there doesn't seem to be any merch from either of these shows. So, yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
But
yeah. Yeah, and they totally ended on a cliffhanger. I mean, who knows what's going on next? So, that's interesting.
Boy, when you look at the original series, what year was the original series set in? Was it set like in the 90s or something?
1997.
1997. Okay. This one, I got to say, the reveal in this that they basically were using repurposed alien technology to get as advanced as they were, explains a lot because this is not that far in the future.
I feel like it's in the mid 20 somethings,
You know
40,
what?
20,
It says
50.
I'm on the IMDb page. It says it's set 30 years in the future.
Again, 30
okay,
years
so
in the future,
2050.
there's no way we're there where they are 30 years from now.
No.
Yeah. And apparently, like the future from Arrow, okay, everyone's still driving cars from today, which is just a weird thing. But I guess I guess
know.
retro is in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like their chariots. I do like the designs of the Jupiters. I think they're cool.
Both of those things I agree with. They're both
Yeah.
very, very Martian, very the Martian.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
very much got that aesthetic.
totally Martian
But it's also
influence.
practical. I mean, the Martian aesthetic is based on, what the drawings that NASA had for what they were predicting a Mars thing would look like. So,
Yeah. So
I'm
if
looking
you haven't
forward to
seen
them.
it, check it out.
Making a season 3. I'd like to see where it goes.
Yeah.
It's definitely much lighter than most of the other, certainly than The Expanse or For All Mankind, and we'll talk about all those shows when we get there. But
and I would say you can safely watch this with the kids. I mean, it's
yeah, for sure.
It's,
And I would
it's-
agree with you. It's lighter, but not in a. It doesn't talk down, and it's not like.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
But it's just
No,
not.
this
It's
is-
not as.
If you go back to the original
Complex.
concept, this is Swiss Family Robinson in space, and they are sticking to that. So
I'm hoping in the next season they're sort of more on their own. I wouldn't mind seeing sort of the monster of the week a little bit, or some of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, or if every second or
was
third
fun back
episode
then.
they came back to the group, but then they went off on their own. I really felt like that took away from some of the tension and the fun of the show. Was that there was just too many people around.
so
Yeah.
two questions: Is Dr. Smith dead?
Would certainly seem to be, but
I thought it was a cliffhanger that she was.
I think
No,
they
there's no way
wanted
she's
to make
dead.
you think she was dead. I don't believe she's dead, and I think she's on the ship with all the kids.
Yeah, the last thing showed her stuff, whatever that was
Right.
that she got out of it.
oh, that's
Yeah, there's
right.
no
I
way
forgot. I
she's dead.
forgot. I watched
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So I think
Sooner- earlier than you
she's going to
guys,
be the
so.
only adult with all the kids, and yeah.
Yeah. And even the pods, they sort of worked in the space pod, different version of the space pod.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is
That's
kinda
true.
cool. So,
Yeah.
so check that out. Let us know what you think. It's fun. Hopefully, I just it's just like a year between episodes. I mean, not that I'm dying to see it, but I need more stuff.
It does feel
I
like
kind of feel like people need
they
to
could do them
we need to
sooner.
have an order worked out so that there's like good watchable sci-fi every month, as opposed to a bunch
As
of
opposed
stuff
to
stacked up.
multiples at the same
that's
time.
right. Can't
But I'm
these
saying,
networks
like,
get
this-
together and work out a schedule to make it work for us?
Exactly, like Amazon and Netflix and whatever like that. Say, okay, well, Picard is finishing up now, so let's have the next season of The Expanse start. Okay, that's going to finish. Let's have Lost in Space, and it's just going to keep it going.
Get through like 6 months if they just did that.
That would
Yeah.
make my life so much easier.
It really
It totally
would. Instead, everything yeah. Speaking of which, they have said that they are going ahead with. They expect to start shooting Section 31, whatever it's
I
called,
read that.
right after Discovery finishes, and they're in the last bits of filming Discovery.
That's
So-
interesting.
So, which also
I
means
wish they had announced that about an Enterprise show, but oh well.
Yeah, me too. Interestingly, that means we may see Discovery not long after Picard, because the previous 2 seasons were airing just weeks after the last episode had finished. So they're in that zone. I think their goal is to keep, like, with maybe a little break, keep all the crews and keep filming. So there's always something in the pipeline, and I think they'd be really smart to do that. So
Well, we've said it before, but there just isn't enough on CBS All Access. Other than, I mean, it's turning into the Star Trek network, which I'm okay with.
yeah,
But there's nothing
Yeah.
else on there.
yeah.
Yeah, totally. I mean, you're paying to watch reruns, but
Yeah.
I haven't really watched any.
Yeah.
So check that all out.
Yes.
I'm gonna ask, any last thoughts?
I have a last thought.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So, if you're paying for CBS All Access, okay, and you're enjoying Picard because you should, but you want something else to watch, last week was the last episode of Evil, which is a new series on CBS this season. It was 13th episode. It's 13 tight episodes. A couple of things, including I just read a thing in Entertainment Weekly. It said the best, hands down, the best new network show this year. X-Files-y, but doesn't go where you expect it'll go. Really, really good. Michael Coulter from Luke Cage is in it. If you're looking for something to watch, 13 episodes. It's now on CBS All Access. I super strongly recommend it. It is my favorite surprise thing on TV this year.
You've mentioned that several times.
I knew I was, I expected I was going to like The Boys to some degree. I had no idea what I was getting into with this. And like I said, it's wrapped up and 13 consistently good episodes, and I cannot recommend it enough. So, and of the maybe half dozen or so people I've got to watch it, everyone's really enjoyed it. And there's some freaky shit in there, but it's good. It's really good.
Good.
So. Is CBS All Access down? Can you download from there?
I'm not sure. I think you can.
Because you can from like Disney Plus, and obviously,
yeah.
I've only looked at it on my
and
big
all
TV.
those.
I haven't even tried their mobile app, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't either. I'm curious about that. Because I do need some stuff to watch. I'm going to be traveling, so I do need some things to watch. I don't know what I'm going to watch. Interesting. Well, check all that stuff out. Let us know what you think. Next week, I don't know. There may not be a next week. No, we'll see.
There'll be a next week. There just may not be a show.
Just to qualify that, Dave is traveling. Okay,
I'm traveling.
It's we're not going to fall off a cliff, but we're still working out how we're going to manage this.
We're working through things, but we will be back soon.
Yes,
Barry's
we'll be back.
house is in complete state of disarray. Everything he owns is crammed into the room behind him, and Dave will be traveling.
All
So
his
This is kind of like the
cherished
Rosebud
mementos.
room at.
oh my God! I was saying earlier, Barry went back to find something, and I says, "This is going to be what the podcast will be like 30 years ago." Barry's going to say, 30 years from now. Barry's say, "Let me get it." And he gets up, starts moving
Do
stuff
yourself
around.
a favor,
and-
but get those things up off the floor in case there's a flood.
Yeah,
for some
no,
reason.
I know. Look, I came home from work today to find everything that I had hanging on a wall in my entire basement down on the ground. So,
Oh God.
we'll take care of that.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. And thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.